Good morning, this is Conrad Vargas, the old desert naturalist. We are in the high deserts above Desert Center today. I'm at a place called Corn Springs. Corn Springs was very popular back when the Indians lived here. The Chemehuevi Indians came in from Utah, settled in the area, and today we're going to be looking at some of their artwork that the Chemehuevi did. We call this artwork petroglyph. They just take any rock that they find on the ground and they just sit there and scratch it, and they take off what we call desert varnish. The sun turns these rocks black, and by scratching underneath it, it removes the desert varnish to the granite that you see underneath it. Beautiful, beautiful artwork. This artwork does not necessarily indicate anything other than in a form like graffiti. They just have fun drawing out something and enlarging it. Beautiful, beautiful work. Look up here. I want to climb up there to look at those. Look, look, look. Isn't that gorgeous? I have seen this symbol before, though. The symbol you're looking at now, I have seen this in one other place. What it would represent, who knows? To the right of it, you can see what looks like even a sun. But don't look at any symbol thinking that it means something in particular, because it does not. Is this a good spot? On my right over here, beautiful work. It's probably going to show up real good on the camera. From right here, it's hard for me to see. On this side over here, again, a lot of hard work went into this. But what you have to remember, when they did this, it was out of boredom. They did this work when they were well fed, had really nothing to do. The women did not do this. The women are too busy raising children and feeding, preparing the food, preparing clothing. So the hunters, which were the men, had a lot of free time. So they did this, just for the fun of it. This symbol here seems to be quite common. This would designate a rattlesnake, but I have seen this symbol before at other places. There's one place that we go, they actually did mountain sheep, and there were like 6 of them and are following each other, and they were magnificently done. There's no specific reason or rhyme as to what they're making up, but I do see American graffiti. This was done by white man very recently, and people just cannot seem to keep their hands off of the beautiful work that they did. They ruin it by putting their initials and actually scrubbing over, and sometimes peeling off the beautiful work and taking it home. These rocks are sometimes will flake and come apart. But it's still a graffiti if they put a symbol of an arrow pointing and they show a spring or something. That would be an indication that the water is that way, and then they would put down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What? 8 miles? 8 suns. You know. This person might be saying he was He's 18 years old, 18 winters old. I don't know. And I see where people have been, the lower right, that is newer. And then look up there, those lines are going, look at that stick figure above that. That's graffiti, our graffiti. Can't leave it alone. But this is not really the best desert varnish, but we'll talk about it anyway. The geology of this region is all volcanic. This granite was uplifted, and the desert varnish on this side of this rock here is not as dark as what we were looking at a little bit before. So the artwork that the Indians are doing here is not near, doesn't stand out near as much as what we saw earlier. The interesting thing about our different composition of material, we have granite here, and then right down through here we have a layer of quartz that runs, and it goes, these beautiful veins run through the granite up, clear up over the top. And Mother Nature is so unique. You can look up to the far right and see a little narrow band of quartz that runs through the granite. It's just, geology-wise, this is just awesome. The desert plants that we have is very diverse. We have ironwood, we have palo verde, we have mesquite, and we have what we call cat's claw. Cat's claw has the thorns that all turn back into the plant. You get tangled up with this stuff, you might as well just give your clothing away to them, because those thorns will hang you forever. Cat's claw, mean stuff. I don't get too close to it. Palo verde, and it's in bloom. Beautiful yellow flowers. Everybody doesn't do too much for the Indians here. They didn't eat anything off of it. This is a smoke tree. A smoke tree is a very unusual plant. You find it basically in the desert washes. When this blooms and it drops a seed, if you pick up the seed and you try to plant it, it'll never grow. The seed, when it falls off, has to be washed down into the gravel, and the water has to tumble it and take off this membrane that's on top of the seed, and then when it finally lands, it can produce. This is one of the hardest things in the world to kill. I have dug these things up and you can't kill it. But they're a beautiful thing, but they can overwhelm a yard if you put them in your yard. When they bloom in the spring, it'll be the most beautiful blue, that the whole plant will just be covered with this beautiful dark blue flower. This is desert willow. It's a relative of the willow tree that are so popular, but it lives in the desert also, and where there's an enormous amount of water, otherwise they just won't make it. This is mesquite. This is the life of the desert. The Indians would pick the beans off of it and make a paste. They ate this like they loved nothing else. Each tree is owned by a family, and the family will pick the beans. They of course would share, but one family would not come over and pick the beans off of another family's tree. They would be in trouble. This is blossoming now. The beans will start to form pretty soon now, but they're really quite good. I've tasted them, and they really taste good. But this is what the Indians survived on for years and years in this area in the desert.
Having troubles with my...
You found a bean?
Bee.
Oh, bee. Bee. I thought you said bean. Bean. Shh, shh. This is the desert ironwood tree. We did a program on the ironwood. Once it dies, the root and part of the lower trunk will turn quite hard. It's a very common tree, but on this tree I noticed something else. We have over here, we have mistletoe. It's a parasite. It lives off of the tree. It gets into the tree and sucks the life right out of it. And you can see the limb right here. It's dead because the mistletoe has killed it. And it will kill this tree eventually. So this is the mistletoe that you hang over and you kiss each other by. Come here.
No way, Jose.
Come on.
Stay away.
Here, come on. Give me a kiss. Mistletoe, yeah. But people don't realize that mistletoe is a parasite. And this tree is just covered with it. What a shame. Okay. Is this okay for right now?
Yeah.
This is athol. A lot of people call it tamarack. This is not a native tree. This came from China. Now, we have what we call tamarack, which is a salt bush. They don't get very tall. This thing here is what, 30 feet tall? And this is an old tree. I don't know how long it's been in here, but it's been here a while. It looks like it's fallen over once or twice and the roots are reestablishing themselves. But this is not a native tree, and it's not tamarack. It's athol. Chinese athol. This is little offshoots that are coming off of the stump here that actually is almost dead, but they're rerooting. And this thing will grow as big as everything around it. Phainopeplas are a very common desert bird in the area here. You'll find them all over the higher regions. The males are black and the females are sort of a drabbish gray. They're not near as handsome as the males.
They look like black and gray cardinals.
My wife says they look like black and gray cardinals. Phainopepla is a Greek word for shiny robe. That's my wife's knowledge, not mine. Look at this. Next to the trail we have a baby ocotillo. I have never seen one that small. That is neat. And then right next to it we have a brittle bush. We're into plants today. And then right over here we have a baby Washingtonian palm. He doesn't look too good. He's just not getting the water that he needs. And then right behind my wife here, we have creosote. It's an oily bush. When they get no rain, all the moisture goes down to the root and it stays there until they get water, and then it'll come back and bloom again. Water is very precious here in the desert, so I'm not going to waste it. I wasn't sure if it came from a spring or if it was brought in, but we find that there's a well here that they pump the water up for this supply here. So we don't waste the water out here in the desert. No, I don't see him.
You see him?
Are they speckled bird?
Yes.
Well, then we have them at our place.
Yes, we do.
This is Corn Springs. In the early 1800s, when the Chemehuevi Indians came here, the water was flowing in the spring. We've had a 14-year drought. As you can see, the trees are suffering for it. But there is still water here, enough for most of these plants will survive. Even if these palms here do not survive, the seeds that they have dropped over the 100 years, 200 years, they will produce. So we say adieu to Corn Springs and the fantastic Chemehuevi Indians that lived here. You want to go up and have a look?
I'll go wherever you go. You're driving.
Well, what's that pedal on the left for?